All right, let's get started. I'm sure there'll be a few more people that join us over the duration of the session. So thank you everyone for registering for today's webinar. Now, this is a technical product webinar that is really focusing on Gunnebo's brand new entrance control range. So over the past 12 months, there have been quite a fair few products to come to market, and we thought it would be a good opportunity to share a bit more of the technical side of those products rather than just so much the fancy fandangle, they look pretty. So we're going to do that. This is a 45-minute session. I encourage people to ask questions. We've got a Q&A section, which I will open up. So yeah, if you'd like to go to the next slide, please, Laurie. So with us today, we've got Gunnebo's Technical Director, Laurie Mugridge, and Michael Brooks, the Managing Director of Gunnebo Australia and New Zealand. So thank you both for joining us today. Next slide, please, Laurie. So as I mentioned, there is a Q&A section. If you have any questions throughout, I'm going to be facilitating. So any questions, pop them in. I'll ensure that they get answered. If we do get inundated with questions throughout the session and we don't get to answering them all, they will be answered at some stage, whether it's after the session or throughout. We will make sure that we get your answers on absolutely anything. And of course, if you are interested in any of the products that we showcase, you can always visit our website or you can reach out. I'll send everyone an email after the event. And yeah, you can let us know if there's any that you would like some more information on, if there's any that you think would be a good fit for your site, and we can definitely have those discussions. So I'm going to be quiet now because, as you can probably tell, my voice is kind of going. I'm getting sick, so I'm going to do minimal talking and all the typing, and I'll hand over to Michael.
Thanks, Jade. Well, it's really exciting to be here live with Laurie today to bring this to you. We've got a fair bit to cover and a reasonable amount of detail that we can go through. But as Jade just said, if throughout the session you've got any questions, pop them in the chat at the top there, or alternatively go to the website www.gunnebo.com.au, and you can download the brochures and tech and spec sheets from there if you want to sort of read it in your own time. What we're going to go through today is just give a quick overview of our entrance control existing product range, and then we'll take you through some of the new products that we've brought to market and just talk a little bit about those, where they fit in the marketplace, some of the features and benefits of those, and Laurie will take you through most of those details. But before we do that, Laurie, can you just flick to the next slide? Just quickly to give an overview of Gunnebo, because quite often we're known for one particular part of our business, and then when we talk to people and people understand the breadth of our portfolio, they're actually quite surprised. So I thought I'd just quickly take you through that. Obviously, today we're going to be talking about our entrance control product range, which most of you will be familiar with, whether you're working within a commercial building type environment. It might be a high security facility like a government facility. It could be a prison. It could be an airport. You'll typically see our products throughout all of those types of environments. But also we've got a very large and growing business in the hostile vehicle mitigation space, so bollards, vehicle wedges, secure gates and so on. So we've been in that business for quite some time. We do also a lot of work in the ballistic glazing and partitioning and door space, again, working with those sort of types of buildings, embassies and the like. You know, we can't talk about this too much, obviously, given the nature of those facilities, but again, offering those types of solutions to those types of facilities. And then lastly, we have a large business in what we call secure storage, and that covers everything from our Chubb Safes range, both in a more retail type environment through to the heavier duty, higher certified safes, and also certified vaults. And these are all independently certified to European standards. So just a bit of a snapshot of our business there. We are pretty much everything physical security. There's not too much that we don't cover, but just to give you that bit of an understanding of what Gunnerbay is about. So with that, we'll move on to our entrance control range, and I'll get Laurie just to give you a very quick snapshot of what the existing range looks like and some of the products that you might already be familiar with. And then we'll move on to some of the new products that we've brought to market this year.
Great, thank you, Michael. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining. So our existing entrance control range goes all the way from your point of sale entry gates that you'll see at your supermarket, through to try-on turnstiles that are still used at many stadiums, especially in Australia. We've got our entrance gates, motorised swing gates for more corporate style facilities. Then a vast range of speed gates, existing ones we'll show you in a second, and some new ones. We have our airport range with all sorts of biometric integrations we can do with those by other parties, but there were a huge range of airport products, which we'll touch on as well today. Full height turnstiles, both internal and external full height turnstiles. Our revolving door range, which are mainly security revolving doors. So you would have an access control card and one person per badge, and that checks to make sure that there's only one person going through. So they're security revolving doors rather than a general revolving door you'd have at a main entrance to a big building or without the access control on it. So these are security revolving doors. Then we've got a very big range of security airlocks, all sorts of round ones, square ones, half ones, and again, they are for higher security areas for single person detection. So it will detect if it's one or two people. So if one person per badge. And if you combine those with a biometric device inside, you are confirming exactly who transits in and out of an area. So they're very high security, a bit slower than some of the other products because there's the process, but nevertheless for very high security areas. So that broadly covers the whole range of our entrance control area. So if I go on to speed styles.
Sorry, Laurie, just quickly before you continue, we've got a question in the chat that says, are the security airlocks ballistic rated?
They can be. Let me just jump back. So yes, we have options for both attack and ballistic rating on some airlocks. So yes, that is an option that we can add if required.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Okay, so onto the speed styles. So this is the existing range of speed styles. Now, start on the left, our BP range, which is the little paddle type speed styles. Don't do too many of those in Australia, but yeah, that's been around for a long time. The FLS range that's been around for a number of years now, all sorts of different models. We're just showing a selection of one of each style here. There's all sorts of different finishes and that you can have on these. This is just a selection of a couple of examples. So FLS there, and we've got the FP range, which is, or certainly was, the most common ones we used to sell in Australia. You'll see these all over the place. Many government departments, or lots and lots of corporate offices. So there's the FP range is very popular here, and the FL. In fact, the FL and FLS range, the swinging style, are starting to be more popular than the FP, just because I think they're seen as more architecturally pleasing than the FP range, but nevertheless, they're still quite popular. So that's our existing range, and I'll just go and show you a quick video of one of the new ones.
So Laurie, I'll jump in straight away here. Look, these are a great looking design, very sleek looking cabinets, and you know, I guess quite edgy almost with the cutaway there.
Yes.
Can you tell me where the readers go?
Yes. So the readers in the picture here, you can see there's like a slightly angled piece at the face at the top of the end leg there. There's a slightly angled piece. The reader actually goes under there, and this design it's been specifically angled like this because in all our previous products they're on the lid, and some people, especially left or left-handed people, because traditionally all these speed styles, all metro gates and all stadium gates are all right-handed, just the way it's always been. But with the Speedstyle FP, we've now angled the lid slightly with the reader to make it more obvious where it is, because it's slightly angled in towards the lane that you're using. So it makes it much clearer to the user where to badge.
Yeah.
Okay, so
No, I was just going to say, can you take us through some of the features? But here we go.
Yes. So yeah, that's one of the new features of the product. Obviously, you saw in the video there's lots of lighting effects that are optional. It comes with the standard red and green type indication lights to show when you're authorized or not. But what we're calling the dynamic lighting. I was just trying to think of the word. So dynamic lighting, where you could see the LEDs tracing through the cabinet to show you kind of the direction to go. The dynamic lighting is an option, but yeah, so we're bringing that out on quite a few products now. The dynamic lighting, which does look a lot better and makes it even more obvious how to transit through the unit. So as we mentioned before, the angled reader positioning, and one of the new features of this product is on a wide lane. On our current or previous FP products, the wide lane, because of the way because the glass slides into the cabinet, on a wide lane, if you've got bigger glass, obviously it needs to slide into the cabinet, so you have to have a bigger cabinet. So our previous FP design has almost 0.5 meter wide cabinets for the wide lane, and then to get up to 1 meter wide walkway. But with the FP Glide, we've now brought out a telescopic mechanism. Now this allows us to use exactly the same thin cabinet as the standard lanes, and with a telescopic mechanism, create a wide lane. So it's just an option to basically keep the cabinets all looking identical and consistent, as you probably saw from the previous picture I'll pop back to. So that's the wide lane, as you can see there, using exactly the same cabinets. So that's new. We have a sound processor in this, as with some of our so more intuitive sounds for when someone's authorized or an alarm's happened. So there's much more dynamic sounds, as well as our dynamic lighting package, so that's all optional. We have climb over detection and climb on detection. Again, we're bringing that out to a lot of our newer models. So for higher security, these mechanisms you can't force open unless you opt for a fail-safe version where you can, but normally here we do them as fail secure with a battery backup. And you can, now we have the climb on and climb over detection. So it's if the units are all sitting there and someone comes in and tries to get access to your premises, you will get an alarm generated at the Speedstyle and it will provide an output. There's a big range of people on here, so just to be very clear how these work. So all of our turnstile products and revolving doors, the interface to them, or the basic interface, is a 1 second momentary pulse from the access control system or a push button. So you need a pulse per valid user per direction. and all of our products in the entrance control range operate in that scenario. So extremely basic interface. And all of those products, once somebody transits, we can give a pulse back to the access control system to confirm that they transited, which is very important for things like anti-passback in access control. You need to know whether someone transited or not. So all of our products also have the ability, or as standard, give a pulse back to confirm transit. Now, you don't need to use that, but it's there should the access control system need it. The other thing I'll touch on is relay outputs. So we've got an awful lot of different types of alarms in some of these products. So we do things like tailgating. So if you badge your card, walk through and someone comes through behind you, and if they're too close to you, we can't physically stop them, then they will transit and then the unit will alarm. So we have a tailgating alarm. We have a wrong way alarm. So to explain that, if you badge on the Speedstar and the wings open, but then someone comes in the opposite direction, unauthorized, then that's a wrong way alarm. We have obviously the climb over or climb on and climb over alarms available. So and there are lots of others, and some of those are per direction as well. So we can give a specific output per direction. So many alarms. You can pretty much get anything we need. The FP, I think, has 12 programmable relays for all the alarms and passage confirmations. The existing one has a similar number. So, I mean, 12, can't think of a single site where we've used that many outputs. So plenty of programmable outputs. And you can tie those into things like, we have some customers that tie them into lifts or tie them into camera systems. So the higher security sites where if someone, what they call a breach, so if someone tailgates in, so you've got someone unauthorized in your lobby, some of our customers actually bring all the lifts to the ground and trigger access control and trigger security, and they'll come and grab the person and escort them out. So obviously some sites, petrochemical sites or where you might get people that want to cause problems, that we can actually link these using these alarms to CCTV and access control and lift. In fact, any system, if they're simple relay outputs, to trigger other events or things like that. So it can be very useful for those reasons. And a lot of our customers now actually just monitor alarms. So I can't name the customers, but they will get an alarm event. If there's a tailgating event, they might not want to be as drastic as pulling the lift to the ground, but they want that to go to security and someone actually go and review the CCTV footage. So so that it forms part of their security personnel process, that any alarm it will trigger and show them on their CCTV who the culprit was.
Laurie, before we move on to the next product, I can see we've got a quick question here. Can graphics be applied to the glazing as part of the gate glazing without damaging the opening and closing?
Yes, above the cabinet. In fact, on these ones, I believe there isn't actually a strip. On our current FPs, there's a brush strip on the cabinet, and that tends to scratch them when they're going in and out. As long as you have those above the glass, above the cabinet line, then it's fine. Below the cabinet line on our existing FPs, I believe we've removed the brush strips. So I'll have to clarify that, but definitely above the cabinet height, yes.
Good question, Paula. Thank you. All right, Laurie, let's move on to the next one.
Okay. Oh, sorry, just a few sizes and things here, which I'll just skim over. One other point that I will mention, though, the new FP Glide has a brand new Gunnebo Electronics platform that is the main features of it. It's got far more detection and better algorithms because it's got 32 sensors in it for detecting transit, which is more than double any of our other Speedstars. So this is kind of a next generation electronics, many more sensors. It also has things like time of flight sensors. So as someone approaches, it can sense you and it will illuminate where to badge your card, all those kinds of things. So it's much more advanced, this new product, and that's coming out in some of these new products for other new products. So much newer electronics. Okay, now I haven't got a video for this one because this is very new. In fact, we're waiting to receive our first one, so we haven't actually physically seen that in Australia just yet. So this is brand new. This is FLDS. Just click onto the next slide. So again, FLDS, we've added more lighting effects, and you can see on the top left one where you've got the little white rectangle which shows where the card reader is. So again, this is it's basically taking our existing FP and putting a brand new casework in it, making it a bit more curved and architecturally pleasing, more lighting. Other than that, it's pretty much identical to the current one. But you can see here, so top left, you've got, that's what it looks like, authorized passage. You've got the, again, dynamic lighting showing the way the green's striping down the cabinet, showing the direction of travel. And then the units in alarm, you can see even the wings, and you get red lights on the top, so it's clear which lane is alarming. Just in standby, you've just got standby lighting in the bottom left there. And we also have the ability to do some customizations. You can't, I don't know how clear it is, but these are, that's not a solid light, that's actually kind of almost chevron style lighting in that strip that's striping along. So we can do some customizations as well, if it's required. So that's just a few views of what it looks like. Again, it's mentioned there, highly customizable, all the LED lighting, slim cabinet, and yeah, it's just meant to be a much more aesthetically pleasing, architecturally pleasing version of the FL. So that's brand new, coming very soon. It's just got some sizes, so the sizes are all the same. So we, with all of our speed styles, we do a standard user width with 550 to 600 wide for a standard lane, and a wide lane is 900 to a meter depending on requirements. Again, all of our speed styles have those options. And here's some examples of all the customizations of the cabinets. You can have all sorts of different colors just to tie in to.
This is something we get asked about quite a lot, Laurie, where we're asked to customize lid designs and so on, various ways, shapes and forms. These things are pretty much ultimately customizable, yeah? Yeah,
that's the idea. We get so many requests, can we make this color match this, or so I mean, we can powder coat our existing gates, but this one is designed to have inlays in all sorts of different colors and materials to try and tie into, give as much flexibility as possible.
Yeah, they're great looking gates.
Yes, they do look good. Okay, so I'll just go on to the next one.
Now, Laurie, just before you go on to talk about the FLS Max,
Yes.
I can see that we've got a quick question here, which I guess relates generally to the product range, are these products weather resistant?
The ones we're showing now, no, but I can show you in just a second. We've got something for that. So
Great
just be
segue,
patient and we won't be long. Okay, so FLS Max. So right at the beginning of the slide, we've had the FLS for quite a long time now. And in fact, the FLS Max, we've done a number of installs already with these, or they're brand new, and this year we've been installing these already. So FLS Max, and here's an example of a powder-coated black FLS Max. So we've got the round or square ends. Now, square ends have the options of glass inlays. The round ones only have glass inlays on the top. The square ones have glass inlays on the leg and the top. Doesn't have to be glass, and it can be a solid infill panel or coloured panel. But yeah, the glass option is quite nice, especially with when you put a reader under the glass, it hides the reader, and it makes it much nicer. And again, you can just see a little area where to badge your card. Other than that, it's really, again, we've got climb on and climb over detection options for these, and the dynamic lighting and the audio options as well. So yeah, it's very similar options, relay outputs, etc., to the FP Glide and the current FLS that we've actually got. So it's just a newer casework, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Which I think, to be honest, I think it's one of my favourite FLS, or one of my favourite Speedstyle products for looks wise.
I agree. I think that they look great. I love the square end one. They look
especially
fantastic.
the square end one. I think it looks really good. So yeah, that's a couple of views there of it. And now we'll go into our outdoor range. So I'm not sure who was asking about weather resistance, but we do have the option for we'll have an outdoor version of Speedstyle FL. So let's go on to that. So we have two outdoor options and one indoor bike option. So we've got the FL Outdoor, so it has much better IP rating and is suitable for installations outside. The FL Bike, which is an indoor but suitable for taking a bike through, which would normally cause alarms in a standard Speedstyle, because it will see the bike as potential tailgate and will warn that maybe something's fraudulent happening. So you've got the FL Bike, and then you've got an outdoor version of the bike as well. So yes, we do now have Speedstyle suitable for outdoor. Now we'll move on to our entrance gate. Okay, so we've had the Glassstyle for many years, but we've just relaunched it. It's a brand new design from the ground up. And
Sorry, Laurie, just before we continue on with the Glassstyle,
yes,
we've just got one more question about the outdoor lane.
Yes.
So Nicholas has asked what the number of people per hour that can go through the one outdoor Speedstyle.
Okay, now this varies. So pretty much all of our Speedstyles have the ability to do up to 40 people per minute. Now, so if you had a push button that was wired to the input that I mentioned, like a 1 second pulse. So if you push the push button and walk through, if you had everyone push that push button and walk through, they would all just flow through and the gates would never close on all the Speedstars. So you can do up to probably more than 40 if you really tried. So we're actually reliant that no matter what you read in any manufacturer's data sheet for Speedstars, we're completely reliant on human factors like people dropping their bag or finding their card, and the access control system, because when you badge your card, that's got to be verified in the database, and then the signal comes back to our gate to open. Now, if the access control system's slow, that slows us down. Not to do with the gate, but because it takes time to verify the database. Now, in reality, we tell people to assume 20 people per minute. Again, that's not our doing. That's just in reality what really happens with human factors and the access control system. If you have biometric, that slows down even further because you've got someone getting ready to do their biometric or whatever like that. So a normal proximity card, realistically, if you allow 20 people per minute, you'll be about there. Okay, so glass styles, brand new glass style, completely redesigned. So the new glass style is now 140 millimeters in diameter, so it's a much slimmer column than previously. It used to be 220 millimeters in diameter, so significant reduction. It's much smaller footprint, and yeah, it's got all the functions of the old glass style. So the key things I think about the new one is the slim column design, new electronics, and the status indication. You can't see here. I don't know if it's in the next slide. It's not. In the top of the cap, there is actually an LED light on it, one on each side. So you've got a red and green traffic light effectively. So when you badge your card, it will go green if you're valid. So the old glass style didn't have those status lights or traffic lights. This new one has built-in traffic lights. Now you have the option here of a little module on top to house a reader. Now this is a global product, but I'll point out here that depending on where this is used, there are regulations that may mean you can't mount the reader there to comply with building standards. So that option, proceed with caution. And like if the glass styles, we have got customers that have installed these at the bottom of a set of stairs. Now you're obviously not going to have a wheelchair user at the bottom of a set of stairs going up the stairs in a wheelchair. So, but you still have to comply with building standards. So no matter where you use it, if it's appropriate, you probably need an exemption to use this, but it's there anyway. So we have the option to add a little module on top for your card reader.
Laurie, we've just got another question that goes back to the outdoor range here. Yes. Is the glass on those vandalism resistant?
So it's toughened glass. So we can do polycarbonate. Now the problem with that is that degrades over time. So usually we would do glass, and toughened glass is very tough. You can hit it with a hammer and the hammer will bounce off, but I don't know if you've been on a coach where you see the little pin hammer, where if you've got something sharp and you hit the glass, it just explodes. So look, bumps and knocks, fine, but if someone wants to get through it and they know how to break the glass with something sharp, then if someone wants to break it, they're going to break it. But bangs and knocks, it's very tough. So in fact, all our Speedstyle FPs, I can't remember the last time we replaced a panel of glass. We must have 2,000-3,000 lanes of Speedstyle FP with toughened glass, and I can't remember replacing one in recent years at all. So they are very tough, and obviously things get banged and knocked all the time. So, but if someone wants to break it, it will get broken.
Now, I have a question, Laurie, with the glass style S-Detect.
Yes.
I know you said that the readers, it's sort of got to be, I guess, depending on the area and building code and so on, but can they be added later? Can the reader be added to an existing glass style?
They can on the new glass style, yes.
Yeah. Excellent.
So that's a module that can be installed on top, yes, afterwards.
Great.
The only caveat I'll say to that is your biggest problem with that will likely be getting the cable to the reader after install, because once it's all installed, if the conduits in the floor are probably going to be full of cables, and the access control guy who needs to get his reader to that, his cable to that reader could have a hell of a job. So yes, and if you think it might happen in the future and you're designing something, put in some spare cable just in case, because then it's possible. But that would be the limitation, is cables in the ground. Okay, now the Glassstyle S-Detect. So this is brand new. We now have an option or a new product with a module for tailgating detection. And what I might do, so it has all the same functions of the other of the new Glassstyle S, but with the addition of a sensor system. I'll just pop to the next screen and show you here. So we've got the detection module there. You can see the two little sensors at the front looking over the glass. That is the tailgating detection. Now, it's not as foolproof as a Speedstyle. It's got lots and lots of sensors and a whole walkway to detect if you're one or two people. So it has its limitations from obviously the area it's got to sensing. But nevertheless, if you've got someone following behind someone with a gap, it will detect tailgating. And also, we've got an option to add the reader module again to the tailgating module. Now, in there, there's also the option, well, there's a sensor in there where you can have an auto exit, for instance. So as you approach the gate, if you wanted it to be free exit, the sensor can detect you and auto open the gate. Now, we would normally not use that. And the reason is because if it's a secure area, because you can have these with 1800 high glass, as you can see on the left over there, you can put very high glass in so people can't jump over. If you put the sensor in there, if someone puts their hand round and breaks the sensor, it will open, if they're coming in from the other way. So normally we would put a beam away from the gate, but it does have that option. So it's just thought I'd mention that. And here's some examples of installs for all of those new products. So you've got FLS Max, it's one on the left there, round-ended FLS Max in the middle, and the new Glassstyle. In fact, that one has a reader on top. It's either the reader module or the detection module. I'm not sure which. Again, at the bottom of the stairs. So you can see, and you can see the lighting in this one actually. That's just the standby lighting, which is optional. You can turn that off, but you'll get a red or a green light when you transit through. So that just can show you. That shows you there that lighting. Okay, moving on because I think we're running out of time. Just quickly go over the airport range. So we've got a couple of additions to our airport range. Now these gates, the reason I'm showing it is because they're not just for airports. So although it's part of our airport range, because it's designed to integrate with all the biometric systems more specifically and have other computers for airports integrated, it doesn't need all of that. So you can use these just as a Speedstyle product for any entrance, in fact. So although it says although it's part of our airport range, in fact, all of the airport products can be used anywhere, and in fact are used in many areas. So this is just a very compact Speedstyle, effectively, that you can use. And then even more, the ultra compact. So this is, again, smaller again, using the FLS mechanism, in fact, here with the sensors. Can't really see them, but the sensors actually in the gates very close. Again, having a much smaller area, you start to limit the ability of the tailgating detection, but it will still do all of that. And these ones are specially developed for baggage sensing and things like that, for pulling a bag for your airport behind as well. So just another couple of options that we thought we'd show here, even though it's more for airports that or designed for airports, we can use it anywhere. And here's some examples of airport gates. I've got a video on the one on the left. That's at the Dubai Eye, like the big Ferris wheel, if you like. So that's our compact airport gate there. Got some boarding gates there. I'm not sure where the one in the middle is.
That's Universal at Singapore.
Oh, there you go. So Universal at Singapore. And the one on the right there is Disneyland Paris, I believe, with the boarding style gate on it. So you can see there that's airport gates being used in other examples. And here's the quick video of Dubai Eye, just showing those airport gates into that. So yeah, just because they say airport, they can be used for anything. It's just designed more specifically to use the additional computers that were used at an airport.
All right, Laurie, I've just got a quick one on the compact. So at Dubai Eye, that's obviously an outdoor location that's just very, very well covered. So are those gates okay in an outdoor environment so long as they're covered?
Absolutely. So in fact, all of our turnstiles, speed styles, we've got many, many of them that are outdoor, but under a canopy. So usually we would have a canopy to protect them from driving rain. But all of our products, in fact, I'm pretty sure all of them are installed outside in some form or another under a canopy. The ones we showed, the FL Outdoor is specifically designed to be out in the rain, whereas all of our others you can use outside but under a canopy. Now, a lot of people would prefer under a canopy just because when a user's coming up to use a device, if it's raining, it's much nicer to come up and use the device if it's under a canopy. So you can use all of our products under a canopy as long as they're protected from direct rain. You can pretty much all of them are available.
And Laurie, we've got another question here. I think it may relate to the AFL gates, the compacts. The question is, do they have interlock functionality?
Interlock, if you have two sets, so one, yes, you can connect them together. In fact, all of our products you could do that with the inputs and outputs. So you could say, so you can make interlocks out of all these. In fact, I'll just quickly go. We've got one here in one of the airport gates that you'll see in the picture. That version of the preset, I don't know if you can see, that actually has got interlocking gates. So you've got one set of gates in the middle there and another set at the end. So that particular model of gate has all interlocking built in. And we do actually have some of our other speed styles we've built all in one cabinet with interlocking. So if you have an option for that, we can certainly do it. We've done many of them around the world, maybe not a standard off-the-shelf product, but it's available.
Yeah. And there's another question here from Sam, which I think I can answer broadly. Are the products off the shelf or made to order? Look, all these products are based on project orders. We don't generally keep stock of these. Occasionally, we might keep stock of the glass styles because they tend to move faster, but generally it's all project based. Lead time's variable. Sort of depends on manufacturing, but I think Laurie currently at the moment we're probably 16-week lead time.
Yeah, 16-week lead time, sea freighting. Most of these products, well, they're made in various factories around the world, actually.
Yeah, so it kind of depends again, Sam, on the volume. I see your question there specific to New Zealand, but it's generally based on what's happening in the factories at that time. But yeah, they are made to order.
Yeah, and quite often we have, like if it's a couple of speed styles, if it's just a couple of gates or a couple of speed styles, we may occasionally projects get delayed significantly, and we have stock sitting here that's come in for a project but may not need to be used for months. So we can reorder that and then release some of that product. So that happens quite regularly. So it's only a couple of lanes, we might have something available.
And then we've got one last question here, and I'll sort of leave this to you, Laurie, but it's from Matt from Amazon. He says, I know we've run out of time, which we have, so thank you everyone we've run a couple of minutes over here, but we are at the end. But he'd be keen to stay on longer to see the airlocks and internal turnstiles, etc. So,
okay, well, I haven't actually covered those because we haven't released any new ones. It was more of a new product, but I can absolutely, if you stay on, I can certainly show you you some things.
So, Matt, if you'd like to stay on the call, by all means, Laurie would be happy to talk you through that. Or Jade's got another answer to that.
Yeah, just because of the type of event it is, I'll have to close it out, which then will boot him out. So okay. Matt, if we contact you straight after this, we can set up a call and give you all the information on those products that you're acquiring. So hopefully that's
so Matt,
okay.
Laurie will reach out to you directly. We'll do that straight away.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay. Well
yeah,
I'll hand back over to you, Jade. I was just going to say thanks everyone for joining. Actually, Paul has also asked if she could be involved on a separate call as well. Yep. So
if anyone would like to jump on, chuck your name in the chat and I will pop something together immediately.
Fantastic. Well, thank you everyone else for joining. I know it's difficult to find time in your day, but really appreciate it. I hope that's been informative. If you've got any other questions, as we said, by all means, shoot them through to us directly. Alternatively, Jade will send out some information, and again, you can also go onto our website www.gunnerbo.com.au, and all of the tech and spec sheets and brochures and everything you would need to know is available for you to download and have a look at. So please visit the site and have a look.